Jonathan Lemire is White House bureau chief for Politico, host of Way Too Early on MSNBC. John, great to see you this morning, my friend. A very happy Christmas to come for you and your family. Let's start with what Ali was talking about and kind of go back to the beginning here with President Biden. As we look ahead to 2024, yes, he's running for president again. He's running to be reelected, but he's got a full plate sitting in front of him in the Oval Office of issues he's got to contend with on a day-to-day basis.
Happy holidays to you and your family as well, Willie. Great to be here. Yes, it will be an extraordinarily busy 2024 for President Joe Biden. As just mentioned, two foreign wars still raging in which he is trying to hold together an alliance there in Europe to support Ukraine while navigating the very difficult situation in the Middle East as amidst of the Israel-Hamas war. He, of course, though, this is about gearing up towards a re-election bid. He's not expected to face much in the way of a primary challenge among Democrats. A few stray candidates have announced that they will jump in, but it's largely going to be a coronation for this president seeking re-election, who would be, of course, the oldest man ever to hold office were he to win again. And he is facing a number of challenges. Right now, he is saddled with still low poll numbers. Americans are still really concerned about the state of the economy. Inflation, in particular, seems to be dragging down the president's approval rating. He is someone who has, as just mentioned, there's some scandal there with his son, who has been indicted on a number of crimes, tax charges, and the like. Though, to be clear, no suggestion that the president himself, no evidence put forth that the president himself has committed any wrongdoing, but that is not stopping Republicans in the House talking about impeachment. So that may be something the president has to grapple with as well as he looks towards a re-election campaign expected to gear up in the first couple of months of 2024. It has been slow to this point, focused largely just on fundraising. There's a question as to how rigorous his itinerary will be, but he will be out there again running for office, this time not amidst the pandemic, unlike 4 years ago.
So, John, let's look at the other side of that 2024 presidential campaign. His likely challenger, of course, former President Donald Trump. This is unprecedented. That word is thrown around a lot, but it's true in this case to have a man running for re-election. He's facing 91 felony charges. What should we expect on his side of the ledger?
Well, Donald Trump to this point has basically run a general election campaign, ignoring those in the Republican primary field. And to this point, that seems like it's been a good strategy. He is 30, 40 points up on the rest of the candidates, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and the like. And he's got his sights trained on that general election rematch with President Biden. And we should mention, of course, Donald Trump has never acknowledged that he lost in 2020. He is still fighting the big lie, even now, as he faces criminal charges for it. There are 4 cases, 91 counts, as you say, ahead of the former president in the months. It's not clear exactly the trial schedule. There is a belief, though, that at least one of these, likely that January 6th federal election interference case in Washington, will go to trial this year, potentially even conclude this year before voters go to the polls. So we'll have to see how that plays out at the ballot box. But this president, former president, has also made very clear what his campaign is about. It's about retribution. It's about paying back. It's about getting vengeance among his political enemies from his previous term. And he has threatened to use the federal government in unprecedented ways to carry out that retribution against his political foes, including potentially President Biden and his family, were he to win again. So the stakes of this next election simply couldn't be higher, as we have a rematch, likely rematch, between President Biden and his predecessor, Donald Trump.
John, you and I are going to be very, very busy together in 2024. That much is for sure. Jonathan Lemire, thank you so much. And again, Merry Christmas to you and your family. You can catch Jonathan weekday mornings on Way Too Early, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC, and alongside me on Morning Joe, immediately following.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.